Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ybot and welcome back to another tanking video here. So, today we're going to be updating the tanking video that I did for Mists of Pandaria that was actually extremely popular, got quite a few views considering the size of my channel. So I was very pleased by that, and hopefully this video will at least live up to its legacy in terms of quality and quality of production and information. And we're just gonna dive right into it here. So, anyway, first off, you want to make sure Mark of the Wild's up, and you're gonna need to be in bear form pretty much 99.9% of the time. So, to attack your targets, when it's a single target, you will go ahead, you'll either pull them with Fairy Fire or Wild Charge. Not much has changed there. Now, what you'll want to be doing, the ideal perfect rotation, according to icyveins.com, which pop over there to find out all of your bear tanking information, because it's still an excellent resource. Wildpedia is basically dead at this point, unfortunately. However, the Elitist Jerks forums are still up and good. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here, guys. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to hit Mangle first, and then you'll want to get 3 stacks of Lacerate up. And if you get a proc for Maul, the Tooth and Claw proc, then go ahead and use that. That will cause your Maul to, let's see here. It'll cause your Maul to cause its victim's next auto attack to deal less damage. So that'll reduce damage on you, which is good. So anyway, for the big thing that's changed here is Pulverize, which is a new talent, which causes you to take 15% less damage for about 15 seconds, actually, 12 to 15 seconds. Also, as always, you want to keep your Thrash up. They've gotten rid of the other one there for us, the other AoE ability, and we can just spam Thrash to our heart's content. And yeah, this is basically your rotation here. Your defensive cooldowns here are Savage Defense, similar to before. And then Bark Skin is on a 1-minute cooldown, so feel free to use that as often as you like. And then I think, honestly, a lot of these big cooldowns that I have here are talent-based, so you don't necessarily get them. I really like Incantation Son of Ursul. It's an improved bear form. It's nice. And then Renewal is an active... it's an active heal. It's a big active heal, and then... Survival Instincts reduces all damage taken by 50% for 6 seconds, and you get 2 charges of it, so it's kind of like a last stand. So that's kind of handy too. So, for AoE tanking, quite honestly, all I can figure out so far with this is that you just spam Thrash a lot. It's actually the Druid's actually one of the easiest ones to AoE tank with. You just spam Thrash, and use your Savage Defense as necessary. Probably a good idea to use Lacerate and Pulverize as well. And always, as always, if you want to, you can use Berserk, and then you can just go like this. You can go ham and have your Mangle have no cooldown and attack up to 3 targets. So anyway, I'm going to move on now, and I'm going to show you the bear tank in action here in some dungeons, and I think I'll show you some LFR as well. So we'll move over to that in just a sec. Alright folks, welcome to the Iron Docks and the second last boss of the instance here. Forget what his name is, he's the big cat man. And as you can tell, this footage is a little dated because he's wearing a cute little Christmas hat. So, what you're supposed to do back in the day with this fight is you're supposed to tank him, make sure that he's on you at all times, keep Lacerate up on him, use Pulverize as often as possible, of course, to help reduce the damage, use Savage Defense when needed, and use Maul, of course, or not Maul, but Mangle as often as you can. But at this point, you basically need to keep his attention, you need to pick up the adds. As they come, you'll probably only go through 1 wave based on this fight, because the DPS is giving him into the floor, and it's ridiculous. That's what happens when you have people decked out in heroic Tier 3 gear. Tier 3 of this expansion, of course. It's Tier fucking 15 or something now, I don't know. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They've got heroic Hellfire Citadel gear on some of them, and they're running these dungeons. So, yeah, things are a little bit too easy here now. And that's why we went through it so quickly, but the DPS rotation still holds true, so, yeah, and it holds true for this fight. You want to pepper it with the multi-tanking rotation here as well. In this particular fight, if you're going to do it the way that we actually did it here, you'll want to make sure that you've got, what's his name here, Koromar and Solok. You want to be using Thrash to keep bleed up on them and keep aggro on both targets as much as possible. And an interesting thing happens here if you don't kill Koromar right away, which I found out by us just DPSing Solok into the floor. As it turns out, Solok never knocks you back and makes you run the gauntlet, which is, that's pretty damn cool actually, so I think that's actually the optimal way of doing this fight now. And now the video's moved on without me to Hellfire Citadel, the second wing, I believe it's called the Halls of Blood. Anyway, this is the Hellfire Council here that we're dealing with here. And, yeah, a few things you need to keep in mind with this particular fight. When you're in a raid, as always, keep your other tank set as your focus so you know what's going on in case for any reason you need to tank switch. In this particular fight, I think it's just a case of one tank deals with the other two ads, deals with the Blade Master, and deals with, Mr. Gurtog Bloodboil. And I took it upon myself to deal with dear Dark Whisper here because I know what you need to do with her and I didn't trust the other tank, quite honestly. They're a stranger. I don't know their abilities or capabilities. They might run her right through the middle of the raid, and I know that she has a lot of AoE damage, especially in this phase right here, which is kind of nasty if she's kept close to the raid. At least that's my memory of it. So yeah, the strategy that I'm told to do is keep her there, so that's what I do. When I do that, we don't wipe. So it's good enough for me. Anyway, what you want to do here, once again, the rotation. The single target fight, so you'll want to use Maul as often as you can. Use Lacerate until you have 3 stacks on the target. Use Pulverize, consuming the 3 stacks, then reapply them in between better abilities. Keep Thrash up. It'll last, once again, it'll last 16 seconds for the bleed. So you just want to keep that bleed up as much as you can. Use Maul only when you have the Tooth and Proc cooldown. And apart from that, normally I'd be saying pop Savage Defense as often as you fucking can. But honestly, not quite as useful on this fight because it's very magical intensive. Now, the good news is there's a few abilities here that can help you there. Savage Defense, not as useful as normal. So, Barkskin, however, is a 20% direct damage reduction entirely. And the damage reduction from Pulverize is 15%, so those two abilities will help you take less damage. In addition, I've talented into the Leafy Heal, as we'll call it, because I don't know the proper name at the moment. I do know that it provides a heal. I know that there are other talents that are apparently more viable, but I chose that one because personal choice. And then the Son of Ursoc talent, I believe, is there as well, which will just let you tank better. I'd call that one an offensive cooldown, basically. So basically what this ability does is it reduces the cooldown on all melee damage abilities, and reduces Growl to 1.5 second cooldown. So this is good if the boss is jumping all over the damn place. It'll also let you hit more and therefore do more damage. So it is an offensive cooldown. It's not really a defensive cooldown, and once again here I should probably be using Survival Instincts or my Leafy Heal, or even Barkskin here, but once again, this fight is not a perfect example of tanking. It's just an example. So, yeah. We almost have her down. She's the last one to go, and that pretty much covers this particular fight here, guys. And I am going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys the bear trials next here, if you're interested. And they will be in good old Pandaria, because everybody loves Pandaria so much. So, I'm going to move over to that. If you guys do not need to see the trials, then thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you like my videos, and I'll see you next time. For the rest of you, let's go on to the trials. Alright guys, so this is actually the tail end of a failed attempt here, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys a successful attempt of the bear trials, or the tanking trials for the Guardian Druid here. And basically what these are, for those of you who haven't seen them before, you probably all have, is you need to protect Sequoia. Sequoia is both DPS and healing tied all into one, and your job is to keep shit off of her while she hits it like a truck. But you also need to mitigate damage, as you will see with future waves here. For the starters here, you just need to use your both your single target and multi-target rotation. It's actually a useful training and learning tool, which is why they made them mandatory for heroics here, I believe, back in the day. So for your multi-target rotation, you basically want to keep the Thrash bleed up. I tend to do it lazily and I just spam Thrash, which, not ideal, but I mean it's certainly an option to keep everything on you. For, you want to use Lacerate until you have 3 stacks, use Pulverize to consume Lacerate, use Mangle on cooldown. Also consider possibly using Berserk if you've just got like 3 really tough adds, and then you can just use Maul as much as you like and it'll hit all 3 at once. So that's something to consider with multi-tanking things like this. For the multi-target rotation there, I'd say basically use Thrash to keep the bleed up a few times, keep Red on you, and then use the rest of that on your main target. That's what I'd recommend, at least at the level that I play, which is LFR and Heroic Dungeons. It works for me, it should work for you. And for these guys right here, the small illusionary flame callers, first off, their big brothers are a nightmare. They're a nightmare to deal with. They are what are going to cause all the salt and the tears to flow from these stupid trials for every class. What you want to do with both versions of them is you want to use whatever interrupt abilities you've got. In the case of the bear, it's Skull Bash, and look, it's the big brother. So yeah, for these guys, you want to just like get enough aggro on them, and then if you've got charge, that's perfect. Just charge right at them. Hopefully the little vermin there will end up catching fire. And yeah, you're gonna have to watch yourself with these guys. Your Bark Skin and Pulverize will both reduce the damage from Pyroblasts, but those things do hit like a truck, so you want to use Skull Bash, like I just used there. And also you want to use the Mighty Bash, I believe is what the talent is called. I highly recommend that, at least for these trials. For actual raiding, it's pretty damn useless, but for the purposes of these trials, it's extremely useful because it helps with crowd control, which is something that tanks don't usually do, quite honestly. This teaches you how to be a proper tank, but really what we do most of the time is we just run into things, we just run into groups, and we just spam Thrash as a bear tank, and that's pretty much all there is to it, quite honestly. There's not a lot of subtlety. We don't, honestly, I don't usually use Lacerate and Pulverize and Mangle on cooldown because trash packs are pretty easy. So, yeah. So anyway, here, I'm just spamming Thrash, just trying to get these guys down as quickly as I can, and probably not doing that optimally, but whatever. Next up, we've got Wing 6 here, which is where we get introduced to the lovely Wing Guards. There's a couple of things you can do with these guys. First off, I would highly recommend getting next to one of the barriers here like I did. That way their Wing Buffet, their blowback attack, will not knock you back too far, and you'll be able to keep tanking them. Another option is to let them blow you back, as I will show you later, and then you can just kite them all over the place, which is great. So you can let them go all the way to Sequoia, like I do right here. They do a couple of hits on Sequoia, and in that case they go down. I was just about to tank them back, or taunt them back rather, and then they would have to fly all the way back. They move at a medium-ish pace. They don't move super quickly. They move at about the same pace that we do, quite honestly. So that's pretty good, and I think there's a better example right here. And this is where things get, where shit starts to get a little bit real here, because you get to deal with a flame caller and a large one of these guys, and the large wing guards do hit like a truck. And yeah, I do think I had to pop. I did have to pop one of my defensive cooldowns there. I had to pop survival instincts to survive all that fucking damage, which is not great, but there's 2 charges on it, so that's good. Highest priority should be the small illusionary flame caller, and then the wind guard. Yeah, right here, as you can see, I'm just like, you know what, screw it, guy, go over to her. And then I just taunt him, and he goes through the flame pool twice, which is kind of nice. So that's an option to deal with these guys, is to let them maybe get a hit or 2 off on Sequoia, taunt them back, let them get nearly out of range, taunt them back, as I'm doing right here, and just kite them, and Sequoia will keep attacking them while you kite them, so it works. However, it does slow the process down, and because you're not doing DPS to them as well, which can lead to a situation like this, where you've got 2 of them, and this is the final wave of this fight. And there's 2 phases here, so you'll want to try to get this guy down as quickly as possible, because you're going to have to contend with an illusionary flame caller as well. So this is where you want to blow all of your cooldowns, every single last one of them, and you'll want to make sure that, yeah, as you can see there, I just preemptively popped Savage or Survival Instincts there. I'm just like, I know I'm going to take a shit ton of damage, so I think I actually kind of panic popped them. It was probably not the best situation, but yeah. In this case, I'm trying to get that guy down first, because I know he hits like a truck, and with this guy and this other little varmint right here, I can deal with him without too much trouble. If it's just me and Sequoia, then I can survive the hits from this guy without doing too much. Of course, you do want to try to avoid it as much as possible. I think I could have used Typhoon here as well. Typhoon would have been a good one, because it would push him back. That would interrupt the cast a little bit. Of course, he would go right back to casting it again, but oh well. It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it enjoyable, entertaining, and informative. And until next time, guys, see ya!